So I just finished crocheting a blanket out using Universal Yarns Bella Chenille Big, which is a super squishy chenille yarn, a little bit bigger than the normal, maybe not as quite as big as the huge jumbos that you're finding out there. But anyways, I was a little hesitant at first because I didn't know how it would look when I joined new ball to the thing or weaving in ends, those types of things. And most of the advice that I found was about tying a knot, and I really did not like the way that it looked, and I didn't feel like it would be terribly secure. There were a couple of different ways to tie knots. This one, of course, you know, you would trim your ends, but it did, just to me, it didn't feel as secure as it may have been. So I found out, or kind of discovered a way that is pretty much, it looks pretty seamless when you look at it. I did this in two different colors so you could see, and I also think it's pretty darn strong too. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. If you look at this one, you can see right here, this was where I joined it. This is done in the same color, and it's pretty darn seamless. All I have to do is trim the threads. So first off, let's talk about the construction of a chenille yarn. If you look at this right here, there are core threads that run down the center of a chenille, and the core threads encapsulate these little bits of fluff. And so that's what actually creates the chenille. And so what we're going to do is go down to the core threads. And I'll show you. You just pinch a little bit and the core is exposed. And what you want to do is make sure that you keep the chenille parts, the fluff parts, snug down towards the bottom. And I'm going to show you on basically a piece that's not been exposed yet. And you just sort of start at the end and you start picking off the fluff, and now you can see the little bits of core thread. And what you're going to do is expose, I would say a good 2 to 3 inches of core thread. So I'm going to keep pulling the fluff out until I have a good section that's exposed. There we go. And so I've got a good 2 to 3 inches, and I'm going to smooth back the chenille. And then what I like to do is I do a quick overhand knot with using so when I say both threads, I mean there's 2 threads in one chenille yarn, and then another 2 threads. So you're going to use both of the threads at the same time, and just do a quick overhand knot. And you're going to cinch it up, and you want to make sure you don't get any of the chenille bits captured in there, but you want to make sure that it's still flush. They are flush with each other. And then you're going to knot it by doing the second part of the overhand knot. And what I like to do is I only pull on the core threads, don't pull on the chenille part. And you make it pretty tight. And then what you can do is you go back and you just keep tying a couple more knots, and this is where it becomes much more secure, I think, than the other ones. Oops, I got a little mistake there. But here we're going to do a couple of threads here. 1, 2. So that this becomes pretty darn secure. And you've got several knots in there. And again, I'm just holding the core threads, and if you look here now, it is pretty darn seamless. We have this knot here that's on the end here, but you can trim that really fairly closely. You want to make sure, again, you don't have any of those little chenille bits in there, but if you trim it pretty close, then oops, it's hard to do this on camera. Got one more little core there. And if you look, it is pretty darn seamless. It is pretty strong, and it's going to hold, and it's probably going to, you could probably, while putting it through the wash, it should be good too. So if you want to try it, go ahead and try it out with some of the other methods out there and see what you like best. But I really kind of liked this one, and I thought it worked out pretty well.